And hello again. I'm going to make another video, and this one is going to involve Google Maps, specifically how to put labels on places in Google Maps, and also how to measure the distances between places on Google Maps as well. And how I'm going to present this is as if I'm giving instructions to my students, like I've just given them an assignment to label places on a map for World War II, and I'm going to walk them through how to do those two steps. So that's how I'm going to present this as if I'm teaching this class. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be on Google and be signed in, and then go over here to the grid and find Google Maps. And then where you want to go to start getting specifically into making a new map is over here on these three bars. That's your menu bar. Click on that and go way down here to where it says Your Places. And then we have four places over here. We have four options here. Go over and hit Maps. And then down under here, I want to get rid of that. Down here, you have this blue bar right here that says Create Map. So you want to click on that, and you'll have a brand new map to start working on here. And there it is. So it gives you the United States. Okay. Now, the key things that you want to be looking for on this as you get going is these little tools that are under here, because you're going to be using specifically this one, and then you're also going to be using that one too in just a minute. But let's say, look on your assignment sheet, and we're talking about labeling places in Europe in World War II. So the first place that's listed there is Paris. So why don't you type in Paris, France? And then the Google Maps will zip you right over there. And now notice this is very, very zoomed in as far as the detailed map of Paris goes. So this is very, very zoomed in here. But what we want to do is we want to back out so you can see where it relates in Europe. Where is Paris in Europe? So just keep hitting this subtraction sign over on the bottom right. There we go. Now we're starting to look a little bit. Okay, let's go a little bit more out. Okay, that's good right there. Actually, zoom it back in a little bit. So we'll zoom it back in. Okay, so now we want to do two things here. On your assignment, I want you to put a brief description of the various places that I want you to do. So for Paris, the first thing you need to do is add your description. So right here is this little, it looks like a little teardrop, like an inverted teardrop, is this thing that says add marker. So hit that. And then here's where you can label it. Okay, so now you want to label it. So we're at this point 1. Let's get rid of this. We're going to put Paris, France. And then I'd like you to write a brief description in the box. Let's just do one together. This one we'll do together as a class so you know what's going on. And so you need to describe it as how the war impacted Paris. So what you're going to want to say is, let's say something like, capital of France, it was conquered by the Germans in June of 1940 and liberated by the Allies in August of 1944. Okay, so now if someone clicks on when you're sharing your map assignment, people are clicking on the various things. They can click on Paris, and they're going to be able to see this description that you've put in. So that looks good. So go ahead and hit save, and there you go. And you can always go back in and edit it if you want to change something. That's what that pencil icon is for. But for now, this looks good. Okay, so let's do this one here, and then the other place. Let's do this one too, just so you can see. We need to zoom out a little. Nope, not zoom in. We want to zoom out. And we want to find Berlin, which is up here. Okay, so let's put another marker. So you want to add marker. And you want to do that right there at Berlin. And so you're going to want to do the same thing. I'll let you come up with the description for Berlin. So let's just say, so Berlin is here. That's obviously the capital of Germany at the time. But go ahead and hit save. Okay, so there is that. And then I also have all sorts of other places that I want you to be able to find as well. Now, what I want you, part of your assignment also is you need to measure the distances between some of the major cities or the places in Europe during World War II, just to give you a sense of how distant these places were. And so now here, let's measure the distance between Paris, which when the Allies got into Paris, eventually the target was they had to get to Berlin. So let's measure the distance between these two capital cities. So how you want to do that is you want to click on this ruler tool, and let's start in Paris, and you left click there to start it. And then as you see, this blue line will draw, and you see the miles start adding up, and just draw it in the direction of Berlin. And then when we get to Berlin, click on it again, because that will turn that tool off. And then here you see it's 546 miles between Paris and Berlin. So there is that right there. So 546 miles. So then you have this. So then the other places that I want you to find, you just would keep doing the same thing. You would just label it. So you click on the places, you'd add a marker, and then measure the distances. And then on your worksheet, there'll be the questions that are in between that, just to show you that. So that's what I'd like you to keep working on in this assignment. If you have any questions, just go ahead and let me know. I'll be walking around the classroom. But that's what this is. It's a nice little basic assignment for Google Maps, just to get you kind of started on it, but also answering some questions about World War II. And so you'll have to play with the zooms on this a little bit, depending on what you find and what I want you to label. But as you can see, that's what it is. Then when you get it all finished, you want to come over here and you want to hit the share link, and you're going to want to give it a title. All right, so why don't we call this World War II European capitals or European places map. You want to hit OK. And then what you want to do is here's the shareable link, and then you want to change this to on the public web, and just go ahead. Anyone can find access, or you can put it in here if you want to make it a little more private. Anyone with the link, and just make sure you give me the link. But for right now, why don't we just put it on? Actually, no. Let's do this. We'll do it on anyone on the link. So just click on the link, and then you want me to be able to view it, and then you just save it, and that is done. And so that's how you share it. And so when you turn it in, that's how you'll be doing it. You'll be sharing it with me. So go ahead and get working on your map assignment and just do those two things. And then we'll go over it as a class, and we'll go over the answers.